Hey everyone, Lo here, your friendly neighborhood runner, or at least aspiring runner. Look, we all have those big, ambitious goals, right? Like running a marathon, or maybe just running to the mailbox without getting winded. No judgment here. But sometimes those goals feel impossibly far away. We're going to talk about making those big goals feel smaller, more manageable, even, dare I say, fun. So ready to break a sweat and maybe a smile? Let's do it. Now, before we dive into the nitty-gritty of goal setting, let's take a step back. Why do we even set these long-term goals in the first place? Is it for bragging rights? To impress our friends with our athletic prowess? Okay, maybe a little. But deep down, it's about more than that, isn't it? It's about challenging ourselves, pushing our limits, and becoming the best versions of ourselves, one stride at a time. It's about proving to ourselves that we are capable of achieving things we never thought possible. But here's the catch. Those feelings of accomplishment, those moments of triumph, they don't just magically appear at the finish line. They're built, brick by brick, run by run, through the daily grind. So how do we bridge that gap? How do we make sure our daily runs are working towards those long-term aspirations? Buckle up, because that's exactly what we're about to find out.
All right, folks, let's talk goals.
The first step to setting any goal, running related or otherwise, is to figure out your why. Why is this goal important to you? What will it feel like to cross that finish line, to conquer that distance, to finally be able to run a mile without thinking you're going to cough up a lung? Whatever your why, write it down, stick it on your fridge, tattoo it on your forehead. Okay, maybe not that last one. Just make sure it's front and center in your mind. Because trust me, when the going gets tough, and it will, it's your why that will keep you going. It's the fuel that will power you through those tough workouts, those early mornings, those moments when you'd rather be doing literally anything else. So, before you even think about setting a specific distance or time goal, take some time to reflect on why you want to run in the first place. Once you have a clear understanding of your motivation, the rest will start to fall into place.
Now that we've got the why covered, let's talk about the what. What do you actually want to achieve with your running? This is where SMART goals come in. And no, I don't just mean goals that are really intelligent and well-dressed. SMART is an acronym that stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound.
Instead of saying I want to run more, a specific goal would be I want to run a 5K. You need to be able to track your progress and know when you've reached your goal. So instead of I want to run faster, try I want to improve my 5K time by 1 minute. Be realistic about your current fitness level and what you can reasonably achieve in a given time frame. Make sure your goals align with your overall values and priorities. Give yourself a deadline to work towards. By following the SMART framework, you'll set yourself up for success and be well on your way to achieving your running goals.
Timeline travels, mapping your running journey.
Start by breaking down your long-term goal into smaller, more manageable milestones. For example, if your goal is to run a marathon, you might set smaller goals along the way, like running a 5K, then a 10K, then a half marathon. This will not only make your overall goal feel less daunting, but it will also give you a sense of accomplishment and motivation as you check each milestone off your list. Next, create a training schedule that works for you and your lifestyle. Remember, consistency is key when it comes to achieving your running goals, so it's better to start slow and gradually increase your mileage than to go all out in the beginning and risk injury or burnout.
Daily deposits, marathon withdrawals.
Every run, every mile, every sweaty step you take is like making a deposit. You might not see the results immediately, just like you don't get rich overnight from putting a few bucks in the bank. But over time, those consistent deposits add up. They gain interest, they build momentum, and eventually, you reach a point where you've got enough saved up to make a big withdrawal, aka crush your marathon.
See, those daily runs aren't just random workouts, they're targeted investments in your long-term goal. Each run builds endurance, strengthens muscles, and increases your mental toughness. These are the building blocks of success, the currency you'll need to cash in on race day. Reverse engineering your run from finish line to starting block.
Think about your ultimate goal. Let's say it's that marathon. Now, work backwards. What do you need to achieve the week before the race? The month before? What about this week? Today? By breaking down your goal into smaller, more manageable chunks, you can create a roadmap for your daily runs.
Each run should have a purpose, a specific target that contributes to your overall progress. Maybe it's a certain distance, a specific pace, or even just focusing on your form. The key is to have a plan and stick to it as much as possible.
I know, some days it feels like your run is just a drop in the bucket, especially when you're staring down a goal as big as a marathon. But here's the thing about drops in buckets, they add up. Every run, no matter how short or how slow, is a step in the right direction. It's a victory in itself, because it means you showed up, you put in the effort, you chose to invest in yourself and your goals. And that, my friends, is something to be celebrated. Never underestimate the power of one run at a time, you got this. Finally, and this is important, don't forget to celebrate those victories. Now, I'm not saying you need to throw a parade every time you finish a 5K. Although if that's your thing, more power to you. But it's important to acknowledge and appreciate your progress, no matter how small. Maybe you finally hit that pace goal, or maybe you just managed to drag yourself out of bed for a run when all you wanted to do was hit snooze. Whatever it is, take a moment to pat yourself on the back. Celebrating your wins, big or small, will help you stay motivated, boost your confidence, and remind you why you started this running journey in the first place. Okay folks, gather round, it's story time. Let's talk about my first marathon. Just picture it, me, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, completely clueless about what I was getting myself into. I'd trained hard, followed my schedule, even invested in a fancy pair of compression socks. I thought I was ready. Spoiler alert, I was not. The first few miles were a breeze. I was feeling good, hitting my pace, even enjoying the scenery. As much as one can enjoy scenery while gasping for air, that is. Then, mile 18 hit. My legs turned to lead, my stomach staged a revolt, and I'm pretty sure I saw a tumbleweed roll past. But here's the thing, even though it was hard, even though I wanted to quit approximately 1,000 times, I kept going. Now, not all running stories involve epic marathons and existential crises. Sometimes they're just plain silly, like the time I raced a squirrel. Yes, you heard that right, a squirrel. I was on a training run in the park, feeling good, enjoying the fresh air, when this squirrel darted out in front of me. Now, I don't know what came over me, but I decided to challenge it to a race. I know, it sounds ridiculous. But hey, sometimes you've got to embrace the absurdity of life, right? Anyway, the race was on. Needless to say, I lost, badly. Speaking of absurdity, let's talk about running fashion. Specifically, running fashion fails. Because let's be honest, we've all been there. We've all made questionable clothing choices in the name of comfort or performance. There was the time I wore a pair of shorts that turned out to be completely see-through when wet. Note to self, always check the fabric content. Or the time I forgot to put on sunscreen and ended up looking like a lobster that had been left out in the sun too long. And who could forget the infamous headband incident of 2023, where my sweat-soaked headband decided to take a nosedive right into my mouth mid-run. Not my finest moment. But you know what? It's all part of the experience.
All right, let's be real. Staying motivated to run day after day, especially when it's cold, dark, or you'd rather be curled up on the couch with a bowl of ice cream can be tough, like really tough. That's where the buddy system comes in. Finding a running buddy, someone to share those early mornings, sweaty miles, and post-run victory snacks with, can make all the difference. When you're accountable to someone else, when you know there's someone out there waiting for you at the crack of dawn, rain or shine, you're less likely to hit snooze. Plus, let's be honest, misery loves company, right? There's something comforting about knowing you're not the only one suffering through those hill repeats. So grab a friend, a family member, or even your dog, if they're into that sort of thing, and hit the pavement together. Soundtrack to your success. Now I know what you're thinking.
Look, I love running with friends, but sometimes I just need some me time. And you know what? I hear you. Sometimes the open road is best enjoyed with a good soundtrack.
That's where those little technological wonders we call headphones come in. Whether you're a fan of upbeat tunes, motivational podcasts, or immersive audiobooks, there's a whole world of audio entertainment out there just waiting to be discovered on your next run.
Music can be a powerful motivator, pumping you up and pushing you to run faster, further, stronger. Podcasts can educate and entertain, turning your daily run into a mobile classroom. And audiobooks? Well, they can transport you to another world, making those miles fly by.
So create a playlist of your favorite jams, download that podcast you've been meaning to listen to, or get lost in a good story. Just remember to be aware of your surroundings, especially if you're running in a busy area. We don't want you getting so caught up in your audio adventures that you end up in a ditch, or worse, running into a tree.
Remember your why. The finish line is just the beginning. Listen, motivation isn't always about finding external sources of inspiration. Sometimes it's about looking inward, about remembering why you started this running journey in the first place. Remember that goal you set, that feeling you wanted to achieve, whether it was to improve your health, run a marathon, or simply prove to yourself that you're capable of more than you thought. That why is still there, waiting to be unleashed. When you're feeling unmotivated, take a moment to visualize yourself achieving that goal. Picture that finish line, that feeling of accomplishment, that sense of pride washing over you. Remember why you started, and let that fuel your fire. Because here's the thing about running. It's not just about crossing finish lines. It's about the journey, the challenges, the triumphs, the self-discovery that happens along the way. It's about becoming the best version of yourself, one stride at a time. So next time you're struggling to find the motivation to lace up your shoes, remember your why. Remember the power of one run, and remember you got this. Lace up, level up, your running journey starts now. So there you have it, folks. We've covered a lot of ground today, from setting those big, hairy, audacious goals to celebrating those small but oh so sweet victories along the way. Remember, running a marathon doesn't happen overnight. It's the culmination of countless steps, countless runs, countless decisions to choose progress over procrastination. It's about connecting those daily deposits of effort to the big picture, to that feeling of accomplishment that awaits you at the finish line. And remember, it doesn't have to be a solo journey. Grab a buddy, crank up the tunes, and let's turn those running dreams into a reality, one stride at a time. Remember, you don't have to be a seasoned pro to experience the transformative power of running. All it takes is the courage to start, the commitment to keep going, and maybe a healthy dose of humor to get you through those tough miles.
Share the sweat, spread the motivation. Now, before you go sprinting off into the sunset, ready to conquer your next running goal, I have a small favor to ask. If you found this video helpful, if it inspired you to lace up your shoes and embrace the joy of running, please give it a big thumbs up. And hey, why keep the motivation all to yourself? Share this video with your friends, your family, your neighbor's pet goldfish, anyone who you think could use a little boost of running inspiration. Let's create a community of runners, all supporting and encouraging each other to achieve our goals, one sweaty step at a time. Because let's be honest, running is always more fun when you've got a cheer squad, even if that cheer squad is just a bunch of strangers on the internet. Keep on running and subscribing. And finally, if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to my channel for more running tips, tricks, and hilarious anecdotes from yours truly. We've got a lot more ground to cover, from training plans and nutrition advice to running gear reviews, and of course, more epic running stories that will make you laugh, cry, and maybe even snort laugh your protein shake out your nose. But for now, get out there, lace up those shoes, and remember, the only run you'll ever regret is the one you didn't take. Happy running, everyone, and as always, stay awesome.